It is 7 o'clock, so we'll call the meeting to order. This is the regular meeting of council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West, held in council chambers at 216 Main Street, Swan River, Manitoba, this 14th day of April 2026 at 7 p.m. Present this evening, Reeve, Gade, Councillors Brad Kushniryk, RJ McGregor, Carrie, Blosha, Terry, Neely, Brian, Burick, and Byron, Zbirun. Our CEO, Kristi, Ronnquist, is with us. Our videographer, Jeremy Bergen, is here. And we have one guest joining us by phone so far. We'll go to number 2 on the agenda. Be it resolved, the agenda for the regular meeting of council held this 14th day of April 2026 shall be adopted as presented. Is there someone to move the resolution? Councillor McGregor, and I see Councillor Kushniryk to second. Any additions or changes to the agenda tonight? Hearing none, we'll call the question. Those in favour? That is carried. To number 3 we go. Be it resolved, the minutes of the regular council meeting held March 24th, 2026 be adopted as presented. Who would like to move the resolution? Councillor Blosha and Councillor Neely to second. Copy of the minutes is attached to the agenda. Has everybody had a chance to look at them? Were there any errors or omissions found? Alright. Hearing nothing, we'll call the question. Those in favour? That is carried. So we have the public hearing scheduled for 7 o'clock tonight. It's a little after 7, but we're just going to give it a few minutes in case some people show up late, and we'll get to it. But we'll just carry on with regular business for a little while in case, there's a whole bunch of them just moments away from walking in the door. So the number 4, Public Works Report. So I could add some to this, but we'll start with what's written down. Tandem truck is still at drive-in heavy duty getting an ABS issue sorted out. They're hopeful to have it back today or tomorrow. This was written earlier this morning. I haven't heard if it returned today. Unit 56, the John Deere 772 GP, was in for repairs on its upper health control arm on the wing. It had broken last year and was repaired but not fortified. It is now strengthened and back on the grader as of 10 a.m. this morning. Ditches have been dug out, however, after the last storm. Most of it will be drifted over, in some cases undone. We've been trying to revisit some of those sites to have a look and then go back to the ones where it's necessary. Water is starting to move. They've been working with the F550, the portable pressure unit, to open up culverts. They've also been working with the steam unit, so they have used that on one culvert. You may recall from previous meetings where the discussion was the steam unit was irreparable and couldn't be used. Turns out it works just fine. So they are now making use of it. The hose on it, though, has some cracking on it, which kind of worries us when we're dealing with steam. So they have ordered a new hose for it, which should be here in a day or two. But the old hose is holding out for now. With the freeze and thaw cycles, it's making it hard to get some of the roads open again. They've been closed since the storm. And with the anticipation of another storm approaching and some colder weather, it may give us an opportunity to get those roads open after the potential snow is over. We currently have 5 graders ready for whatever may come in regards to the weather. 9.7 says investing in a large snowblower for widening roads and streets would be a great asset if we continue to have the winters that we have been having. I can additionally add that this afternoon in Benito we're dealing with 2 flood sites. One of those is on Main Street by the hotel and the post office. The culvert across that street is refusing to carry water. It's trickling through, but we can't get it open more than that. So we're pumping across that road all day. We're dealing with an additional flood site between 1st and 2nd Avenue in that 100 block where there's a low house. There's a culvert there that we can't get to open. We're getting dirt out of it when we try to pressure wash our way through. The steam isn't doing anything either, so it's possible the culvert collapsed. We are pumping over that road as well to get that water out of there to save the house. So that work continues as I had my last update, which was at 6:30, just a half hour before the meeting started. So we do have staff out working with that right now. We have been to several other sites where we have been a lot more successful with opening culverts and having water move along. I can also advise that last night we discovered a farmer has taken a track hoe and made tracks down some of his creek to facilitate the water reaching Benito at a high rate of speed. We have sent pictures of that to the Water Resources Officer along with a complaint suggesting that that's inappropriate. However, last time they did this, it caused major flooding in Benito. So it's quite possible this will be a problem in a day or two. We did speak to emergency measures yesterday. They called an emergency meeting for Parkland municipalities. There was another one scheduled for tomorrow morning that we'll be attending. I've not seen the new flood forecast for the Swan River yet, but they were supposed to be having one today. The forecast for overland flooding is probable for here till probable to high, depending on what happens here with snow. We continue to watch greatly the forecast for the next few days. At the current moment, as of 4 p.m., we're still expecting 10 to 20 centimeters of snow before the end of Friday in this area, which of course isn't great given the trouble we had with the last snow we got. We have seen some of those banks down quite a bit. We spent much of the day today pushing banks back with graders to try and prepare for more snow in case we need some place to put it. So we hopefully will limit the use of heavy equipment. But obviously last week we had a lot of heavy equipment out to get to every house. So it's been a rough week. Councillor Neely.
I just wondered how you made out with Road 200 by Glenn's.
So it is back open again as of yesterday. We were able to move that snowbank enough that we could get a traffic lane through the middle of the road.
Still wet though, like it's
Still
melting right on the road.
Yeah. And we haven't, there's plenty of our roads that we have not reopened yet. We have made sure we're to every house and every animal. But there are roads that if there was 2 ways into a house, not necessarily both ways are done. There's some people pretty upset with us about that.
Well,
Most of them are bus drivers. But
well, it's understandable. I mean, at least you can get home, right?
well, and that's the big deal. We were dealing with some of those drifts are 7 feet high.
Yeah.
And some places we had 6 foot high drifts that were 400 feet wide. And we take a cat out there and we're still 4 or 5 hours to get through the drift with a cat. It's just becomes this insurmountable amount of snow to move.
Well, the thing, you spend $5 grand on a bulldozer and then 3 days later it's melting anyway.
Well, that was even yesterday. There was a lot of push within the organization to spend upwards of $20,000 on some more bulldozer time to go widen all these roads. It's going to melt in a week. So as long as we can get through, why waste 20 grand, right?
Yeah.
But we're trying to, split the difference of that. If there's a road we know can't take more snow, try and move it back some, so we can at least plow it again next time, if we get the snow. And we're still have our fingers crossed it might miss us. There's 2 different systems. One looks like it's for sure missing us to the north. It's the second one we're still worrying about. So we'll see.
Later in the week.
Later in the week.
Friday, Thursday, Friday.
So, fingers crossed. It would be great even if it came as rain. It would be easier to deal with the flooding than it would be to deal with the snow. But we just won't know till it happens.
I went down some roads the other day, trying to figure out how to get my skid steer out west of Bozeman there. I went across Brown Bridge and I turned on that road off the Hall Road and I looked and it was like a little turkey trail there. It was only 10 in the morning, so it wasn't really soft yet. But if you meet somebody, what do you do?
Well, it's tough.
I'm not backing up for a mile.
Even that detour around Road 200 was a pretty rough detour. It was there, you could get, but it wasn't great. So, and some roads like 198, it's in great shape, bare and dry. Snow's off it, everything's great. We had some people complain rather loudly at us when we were still trying to get to all the houses that wanted to be hauling grain. So maybe you just give it one more day to dry up a little bit.
The worst storm of the year.
Yeah. And I understand, they've got to move the grain too, right? Like that's also important.
It's their livelihood, right?
But it's just sometimes different priorities. Councillor Burick.
Do you know if Mountain View Road, anything got thought out there, north end, or no?
I don't know specifically for it.
I texted you about Burkhart culverts, already?
I don't know if we've been there.
Okay. Yeah. Just changing the subject from water. Where's the grader, not the grader, the disc, the one-way? Is it back or still not back from being painted?
The disc for the size of the roads?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because
I don't know if it even went. It may not have went. I think it's still here.
Hasn't gone yet, because I thought it was supposed to be going to get painted.
Yeah, I think they didn't pick it up. I haven't heard, the day they're supposed to pick it up, they didn't come for it. And I haven't heard of them coming a different day. So the likelihood is that it's still here and it was painted after the season.
Okay.
Anything else in the Public Works report? All right, let's go do this public hearing for the financial plan. We didn't do a whole bunch of different agenda for it, like we would sometimes do for a public hearing. We just thought we'd do it as part of this meeting, just to sort of speed it along. We seem to have one person who's likely to ask questions. So Jeremy, would you like some sort of presentation? Would you like just to ask you questions? What would you like to do?
Start with your presentation and then I'll fill in the gaps.
Okay, so the presentation is pretty short and sweet this year. We spent the last couple meetings doing this budget on camera, so people got a chance to see the actual budget process instead of just the final version of it that comes tonight as the financial plan. So if you haven't seen that, we kind of suggest you go back and watch those meetings, because it's pretty informative. You can see us go through line by line and see what our thoughts were on everything. There aren't a lot of changes in the financial plan this year. Council tried to keep it fairly modest, especially in light of the school tax increases that we're seeing this year. So we didn't want to pile on top of that for residents. We're just within a few $1,000s of the same amount as where we were before. When we finished budgeting, there was a little bit of changes as we went through and put some of the numbers in here. But mill rate wise, we actually went down a bit. That's more about the assessment having gone up some. Our total budget line from one year to the next is slightly more this year, but the mill rate did decrease because the assessment went up. The big highlights in here is the GIS program. After this budget was completed, there's now been some discussion that the town of Swan River may not charge that amount until next year. So we don't know what's happening with that, but that conversation's going on. If it's not charged now, we'll probably just save the money over, because we'll have to pay for it eventually. It's just a matter of when. We put a little bit more money into some pavement repairs and some haul road repairs, specifically looking out by Cement Works is kind of the focus this year to fix that road up. Even a few weeks ago, it was just in horrible shape. You know, it's our priority likely this year to get something done there.
Cement plant road.
Yeah, it's just,
Brad went for a drive there.
I know, it's just horrible. So we've got to work on that. That's kind of the big deal. Otherwise, it's much the same budget as we saw last year. Some adjustments here and there. There is provision in it for one additional position to do some work with us to help Public Works out a little bit more. That hasn't been hired yet, but it's something the council has the option for because of the budget. It's kind of a calm year. There's not a lot of surprises. Your turn.
All right. Okay, starting with page 1. But yes, first I just needed a little reminder of where the revenue from grants in lieu of taxes comes from.
So that is things that aren't otherwise taxable. So schools, hospitals, government property for the most part. For us, it mostly is the school in Benito, but there's some other little pieces here and there. And they don't necessarily pay taxes per se, but they give us a grant kind of equal to what the taxes would have been.
Okay.
So the proper mill rate calculation is all the assessment divided by the amount of money comes to a mill rate. But because they give us a grant, we add that in there, and the mill rate goes down because of it.
Okay.
They don't necessarily pay all the taxes, but some. So it's not a gift, but it's made to look like one.
Right. So the first thing I noticed on this page is it appears like your total tax levy budgeted for and then the total actually collected was off by almost $1 million.
From the previous year?
From the previous year, yes.
Previous year may not be entirely accurate because of how the budget was done. When we did the budget, what we all saw here did not include the school taxes. And typically that's how it works.
Okay.
But when the import was done from the province, the school tax amounts were included in it.
Okay.
So it made it look like we collected a whole bunch more money than we should have, when in reality it was pass-through money going to the school division, and normally we'd see that in two different lines. But last year it all came in, so it showed like over $7 million of taxes here, when
Yeah.
really it was around $4 million.
Okay. So yeah, so the total actual is the like the actual accurate number, or
Let me grab.
Are you talking about the first line on there?
That first line,
That's
yeah.
the one I asked about too.
Yeah.
That was school taxes.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
because yeah, you budgeted the same amount this,
$3 million.
you know, barely an increase in the tax levy this year.
So this was printed in February. So this shows our property tax budget for last year is 4.435 million. but we actually collected 7.473 million. So we were over by 3.037 million of school taxes.
Okay,
And I don't think that this Excel file could deal with that,
okay.
because it's, yeah, isn't, I've always found the previous year on these are not horrible. This is way more accurate
Yeah,
than this thing.
Yeah.
Because it does the import, but it doesn't make it always be right.
because I thought it was quite impressive that you were so low on your actual tax revenue, but then you somehow managed to get a $500,000 surplus in the end still.
So true, so true. And to the point of the surplus, we here do cash budgeting, but when it goes to audit, it's accrual budgeting. And so those surplus numbers do weird things too. We got caught, our audit came back from 22, and we had thought we had a surplus, but we actually had a deficit. Because when the capital items were moved over to the capital line, suddenly things didn't look the same.
Right.
So there's some weird stuff sometimes happens in that. In the audit, there's a page at the very end that shows adjustments to make it the same as what we see here. And then you see the numbers come back in line with what we kind of thought they were. But especially in a year, if we buy anything capital, something like the splash park is capital, it all gets pulled back out of our expenses and becomes an audit expense and gets amortized over 10 or 20 years and makes some weird changes to our audited numbers compared to what we saw. Because here we just worry about if we have $1 million and we spent 900,000, that's a good thing. Whereas there, if we had $1 million and we spent 900,000, they might say, well, we only spent 500,000. You actually have the surplus.
Right.
But next year, part of that will charge against us, even though the money's already gone. So some weirdness goes on.
Accounting magic right there.
Yes.
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 The protective services, the last year's actual from last year's budgeted $200,000 difference, that's from the GIS not being actually in service last year?
That's a lot of the GIS.
Yeah.
We had budgeted for it, none of those expenses went. So we didn't, like, the budget line stayed. The money's not owing in the future because the GIS wasn't operating.
Right.
So we kind of spent it on gravel. Which is why you see the gravel budget's a little over.
Mm-hmm.
Because we figured might as well spend it on something useful.
Exactly. I will note for this year that GIS has been very helpful so far because they made 8 arrests in the first 3 days
Wow. Is that?
with 2 guys.
No, it's good. And I was kind of alluding to the GIS thing before. The agreement holds that we pay every quarter. And the town's supposed to be invoiced every quarter. But a couple of weeks ago, the town made noises about not invoicing us until March of next year. And I have no idea why they wouldn't send us interim invoices, and there's a lot of discussion going on in the background about that, because that's going to make our next year budget look really strange compared to this year. And the money's here, and we're using the services, why we wouldn't pay for it now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's to be determined what happens.
Environmental health services, there is there's a decrease on that by about $70,000 from last year.
Are you on the front page?
I'm still on the front page, yeah, I'm just looking at the front page.
Oh, just the summaries? Okay.
Yeah.
Environmental health services, right there. There is a decrease. Some of that, I believe, relates to, let's go see if this shows enough detail. So there's a change in the landfill totals for what we budgeted. Last year we had budgeted $100,000 to be a landfill, and this year the budget is not that big because we've spent some of it and then carried some forward. So I think that's where you're seeing the decrease. There isn't a decrease in operating costs at all. They're up a little bit, but the capital planning of building the new cell and such is where you're seeing the decrease. We haven't budgeted nearly as much this year as we had last year.
Was there actually like some cell construction stuff done last year?
It hasn't been constructed, but we ended up spending a boatload of money on the engineering consultant, whose report is on the agenda tonight, finally, for what to do next, and then the real trouble starts. but we spent 42,000 on him, which is part of last year. And then this year, we didn't budget as much because his current professional advice is that we won't be able to do new cell until spring next year.
Oh, okay.
He thinks it'll be a year to get approval. We're hoping that's not the case, but, you know,
Cross your fingers, you can fit the garbage in
we
there.
can't. There's no way. There's just, and that's gonna be part of the problem, is that if we're having to haul that garbage someplace else. So we're gonna see if we can't urge that approval along in the future to get, when we do get the cell, the intention is, the ground testing shows it pretty close that we could dig the cell ourselves. So rather than spending a whole bunch of money having a construction crew in, we'll probably take our own equipment and guys up there, which will hopefully cut down on what it costs to actually build it, but it'll still be the engineering fees and such.
So the 1 year approval is just bureaucratic delays.
He says that right now the environment folks are that far behind looking at applications. But I think, I don't know, I don't want to speak for them, but I would
Yeah.
think that if they're told the landfill's full, we're just gonna make the pile higher until they approve it. And they might change the order of applications.
I noticed under your fiscal services, significant difference between the total budget and the total actual. Is that like, again, accounting magic, or is
You go see what this actually shows for it.
it's like 1.8 million versus 363,000?
I'm not sure that that's showing it correctly.
A number in front of that thing, Jeremy? Or
Is there a
This
number under your,
I'm just looking at page 1. This is the summary.
So fiscal
oh, it must be
services,
different there.
It might be.
in the details part of it, includes school taxes.
He's looking at this.
He's looking at one.
No,
Oh,
he's looking at
Yeah,
this.
he's on page 1 of this
He's
thing.
not on this.
what page would that be on another?
Be farther back.
So last year fiscal services, there was basically 3 million of spending on the school division that was not in the actual budget. That was all overspent because of how it showed up last year. And then into the transfers part, which is, the most of fiscal services where it affects us is where we're putting money into a reserve or taking money back out of a reserve for something. So the plan is to still put the same amounts into the reserves for machinery and such, $250,000 is kind of the goal. Let's see where the actual, there's so many pages of this budget.
Because yeah, I see this year's budget is comparable to last year's budget in that
Yes.
regard.
Do you wanna look at mine?
Don't look at that.
So the
There you
from
go.
We all
capital
got- we all got
is
that
part of
sheet,
the
yeah,
difference in the fiscal services from last year, so that included, I believe, money for the fire hall
Okay.
was budgeted but then not done.
Oh, right,
Because we had the budget to withdraw the $1 million to do it, and then nothing happened on it. And then this year, it's not showing up in quite the, well, it's showing 1.5 million, which is mostly fire halls, 900 some thousand.
Because
fire hall.
all that money you were gonna spend last year is now in a reserve, and you're gonna spend it this year.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
And part of last year, 2 years ago, when we first got the 500,000 from the province, as soon as they approved the fire hall, they cut us the check. And so it came in as income and then into a reserve, and has been sitting there ever since. So then it's going to show us coming back out of the reserve and going to the fire hall.
Right.
The fiscal services line is always where some of that happens, because it's the money moving between accounts. And it looks like, oh, you're getting all this income, well, there's also all the expenses to go with it.
Yeah.
It's just coming out of this hand to go to that hand. But mostly, the most important parts of it are the reserves. You know, we're still funding reserves. Councillor Neely,
This would all go back to the first item.
the school tax and a lot of that.
It'd all go back to this $3 million
Oh,
difference at
yeah.
the start. Yeah.
This year, our budget will show it like this version, but the budget includes the school taxes coming in and going out now, so that it doesn't look like it's an over expenditure. It
Right.
looks like it was a planned expenditure.
I question that every time I see it, Jeremy.
He wants his $3 million back.
What are we doing with this $3 million?
Yeah, yeah.
4.3 million.
Okay, I'm jumping to recreation and cultural services here.
Can you tell me your page number, by chance?
On mine, it's page 7.
Okay.
Community centers and halls, you planned to spend $6,000 last year, ended up spending $33,000.
We did.
What would that have been on?
The Big Woody roof was part of it, and the Durban Hall. So the Durban Hall, we had an insurance claim for the storm, but the deductible is $20,000. And rather than taking the insurance claim and trying to get to the $20,000, we ended up spending, I think it was $17,000, $12,000.
17 on Big Woody and 10 and
Yeah.
10
10.
Durban.
So, yeah, we just paid it out ourselves
Oh, yeah.
for less than the deductible would have been, and did the work that needed to be done. Big Woody, then we did the roof for 17. It went a little sideways too, as these things tend to go, so they had contractors arranged to do it, they had got the quotes. When the time came, the contractor wasn't available, so ended up getting a work party together.
Ah, yes.
And the roof is still done, the materials were still bought, but the labor certainly was different, and the hall ended up having the rest as a donation, which isn't the worst thing in the world, because they probably need to fix something else.
Yeah, yeah.
And they put the work into it, right?
Just curious, I mean, you've had disc golf as a line item here for several years, and then nothing gets put in that line. Is that grass mowed by volunteer work?
No, it's mowed by us, it's part of just a general mowing,
Okay.
but we don't charge
It's
it out
just
to this budget.
separately. Okay.
You see in the town budget a lot of that where, you know, even snow clearing is charged to a snow clearing line. In our budget, it's just all being caught by municipal staff and the fuel line.
Okay.
But you can't see within that where they're going. But it also saves us doing all the accounting, because otherwise they'd have to carry a page with them and say, I spent 30 minutes at the disc golf and 10 minutes at this playground, and someone here would have to do that all. And it just doesn't seem like a good use of our time.
Yeah, and there's no other capital expenditures involved with that, so.
There hasn't been for a while for disc golf. Once
Yeah.
that was installed, it's been kind of how it's been. And I don't know, like, the baskets are in pretty good shape. Maybe benches or something someday, but there just isn't really a lot of capital to spend on it. At least not yet.
Yeah. I see there's an additional about $30,000 going into the rec center this year.
There is
Is there some adjustments of how
hydro.
hydro?
hydro gas. This will be the first year that we're taking over the utilities for the Video Recreation Center. It's celebrating 50 years this year. So we actually had a history lesson the other night at the fish supper of how it came to be. And there had been a previous building and it was found to be rotten and couldn't be fixed. And so the community got together and built themselves a rink. And it's always been the community's rink, but over the 50 years, the community's way of running it has changed. You know, at one time it was all volunteer and they fundraised all that money. And I can remember when my dad was on the rink board years ago, them being so happy they finally paid off the mortgage. And that would have been probably a 25-year mortgage, and they finally paid it off and finished the rink off. All that time they paid their hydro bill, they paid their gas, they paid all of it. What's changed is that we thought for fairness, given that we're not necessarily putting as much money into the Centennial Arena anymore, we would use a portion of what we're saving there, pay the utilities in Bonito, and would free up their volunteers to do what they do best, which is making the facility better. So they've put almost $400,000 into the facility in the last 10 years of capital upgrading that we haven't paid anything for, and they intend to continue doing that. So while we're paying the utility bills for them now, if they weren't there, it would cost us a fortune to run that rink. It would have to go away. You know, we'd be at least one full-time staff member through the winter, probably two, to try and run that rink instead of what they do with their people. And so the cost would be astronomical. Like we see it at the Centennial Arena, the cost is astronomical. So this was kind of seen as a way to make the committee be interested in being there. Everything they do, everything they fundraise, they get to put into capital upgrading now instead of just paying the hydro bill. It's a cost, absolutely it's a cost, and there'll be some people that think it's a bad idea. But overall, if we want to have a rink in Bonito, the writing's kind of on the wall, we have to support it. And if we can support it for a little bit, instead of paying a lot to run it ourselves, This is probably the best decision for everybody.
Save yourself all kinds of logistics trying to make it operational.
Just for your information, what we pay for is the insurance on the building and the hydro.
Right.
Yeah, that's the
Yes.
number.
Yeah, and insurance also keeps going up.
It does.
Oh, yeah, it's $60,000.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's some reasons for that, which is kind of the rink board's fault too. Insurance has gone up, but as they've made the rink nicer and nicer, the cost to replace the rink goes up. And, you know, probably 20 people have called to have the discussion with me about insurance and why we pay so much at the Benito rink and Minnetonka's pays so little. Minnetonka's is less than $5,000 a year now to insure their rink, whereas we're approaching $60,000 a year. And the difference is if the Minnetonka's rink burns, their insurance will clean it up so it's a nice clean site. If our rink burns, it will be a brand new rink.
Well, our rink also has a hall.
Oh, for sure, it's
Yeah,
way
that's
bigger.
like twice as big as the
Yeah,
Minnetonka
for
swing
sure,
too.
because
Yeah.
it's the skating, the building, the hall, but our insurance is replacement.
Mm-hmm.
So we would build a brand new one and insurance would pay the bill. And we saw in Saskatchewan a week or so ago, a rink collapsed and they're not insured for replacement. So it can happen.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's, yeah, that was explained before. Oh, the other, I missed that. Other rec facilities, last year you budgeted $100,000 and this year it's only 500.
So the $100,000 was for the splash park.
Ah, okay,
Capital
yes.
contribution.
Ah, yes. And that 500 is just basically ongoing maintenance
I don't
operations?
think
or
it's splash
even that?
park, it's likely something else.
Oh, yeah, it's like
What it is.
cleaning the bathrooms and stuff like that. I thought we did
Yeah,
that
it's some
too.
just
Oh,
little
okay.
There's-
sundry thing,
yeah.
it's not capital, it's some operating.
Just look
On
at
the, in the park there?
yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
bathrooms in the park that need to be cleaned.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that's what that's for.
I am anticipating that the fire hall is planned to be built this summer.
It's the intention. The trees have been removed that we needed out of the driveway in. As soon as the frost is out, we're gonna put the driveway into the highway, connect the access to the site. Later tonight, council is reviewing the tender package with the intention it'll be released tomorrow.
Okay. Okay, and then my last question, I believe, and I feel it's a big one. I don't see any planned expenses in either your capital budget or your 5-year capital plan for any bridges.
There aren't any in there. We haven't answered the question at the table yet. The 5-year plan we revise each year, so we can change it each year if we need to. And for that, we obviously would. We don't yet know the answer for the Brown Bridge or for the low-level crossing. If we end up doing one of those projects this year, I don't know if we will, but if we do, the rules here provide that if we have a reserve account that is for bridges, we can pull the money out of it even though it's not in the budget.
Mm-hmm.
If we need to take money from a general reserve or such, we would come back for an additional public hearing to approve that expenditure at that point. From what we've seen, there's still some disagreement at the table over the Brown Bridge of how to deal with that. When we held that public meeting, you know, there's some future creep wanting to straighten the road, and that's a good thing to straighten the road, but the cost to straighten that road would probably be hundreds of thousands, if not to $1 million. And then the bridge itself, when we did the tenders for it, they came back at double what we were expecting to do the repairs. And then, you know, we heard from one of the folks that bid on it, well, we could have bid half, but we just thought you want to spend a lot, which has kind of shaken our confidence in some of that whole process as to, and they even told us, well, if you just put in the tender what you wanted to spend, we would have come in at that. Which just astounds me, when they're supposed to be bidding what they can do it for, to then just say, well, we just bid double because. So I don't want to give the impression we're not doing anything, but I think we're kind of reevaluating how it gets done. if there's not better ways to do it, to bring those costs down somewhat. Because if the, you know, when we had that public hearing, if the repair had been $250,000, we'd probably be doing the repair now. But the repair had come back at $700,000, which was so close to a new bridge, it didn't make sense. But if we're going to buy a new bridge, it's really hard to do the brown one before we do the low-level crossing. Because the low-level crossing is a much more used bridge. And what do we do with that? 3 weeks from now, we'll know more of that answer. If it survives this flood season, do we try to fill the dip in and limp it through another year or two? We didn't get our grant approved for that bridge. If we can limp it through another year and take another round of the grant and get it approved, and because of that we save the taxpayers $1 million, is it worth limping it through? Probably. $1 million is a lot of money. And that's why it's just not in here, because we just don't know.
Excuse me, Jeremy, is there grant money for the Brown Bridge yet, or
There's not yet.
did we apply?
We didn't, because we could only apply for one, so we applied for the low level.
Okay, that was my question.
And we didn't get it, and we've done some lobbying since then. Every time we talk to anyone in that decision-making process, we're pointing out why it's important to do something about that bridge. And usually that pays dividends, but sometimes it takes a year or two. You know, you get into that political arena of trying to make the province think it's the most important project to fund.
We're looking at 1.2 to replace the Brown Bridge, right?
Oh,
Not including the road.
right. And, you know, this other bridge, you know, we're up to 4, but talking to Fisheries and Oceans, they may be willing to bend some of the rules for that particular structure, so we wouldn't have to go as long a structure. We might be able to bring the riverbank in a little bit, because right now the structure would basically have to go from where the road starts to slope down all the way to the river it slopes up again.
yeah.
But if they would allow us to bring those roads in and put a very sharp abutment on it, we could shorten our bridge by 30%. Well, we also cut our costs by 30% when we do that. So there's some options there to play with.
It wouldn't really narrow the waterway.
No, but it would
would
narrow
just-
the bridge.
Yeah,
Yeah. And gravel's a lot cheaper than steel. You know, building that up wouldn't be a way better deal. I would have to do a little bit of protection there so it couldn't erode away, but still, overall, it would be a lot cheaper than building a bridge that's 72 meters long or whatever the first proposal was. That's a massive bridge.
yeah, that's a couple 100-foot bridge there. From bank
To
to
replace the
bank,
Ford
yeah.
crossing.
Well, I know ones we talked about, you know, there's the other Ford crossing, the Lockney crossing, we've had fisheries look at it now. And we expected an order to remove and an order to repair and fines to be issued to the person that had been there. And much like with the other issue in the river, crickets. So maybe a proposal to fix the low level isn't out of hand either.
Tit for tat.
You know, like if that was all okay, then maybe us pouring some concrete on the low level crossing isn't the worst thing in the world either. But it'd be nice to have a bridge, because it'd be a 50-year bridge instead of a 5-year fix or a 2-year fix. Nicest thing would be if that bridge washed out and there's a disaster fund.
Spray for rain.
Best/worst case scenario, right?
Yeah, because we'd have no bridge for months, but we'd also get it fixed. And it wouldn't cost us the full amount.
Yeah, it's not my word, Jeremy, so let it.
Yeah, okay, I think that's all the questions I had then.
Thanks. Well, thank you. It's always good to have questions from at least one person tonight. Let's go to 8.1 on the agenda, General Cheques. Be it resolved, the Council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West hereby approves the following payments. General Cheques number 21225 to 21268, the amount of $207,482.75. And pre-authorized debit number 2026-017 to 2026-022, the amount of $30,779.10. And credit card payment number 2026-083 to 2026, I bet that means 085, in the amount of $817.86 for a grand total of $239,079.71. Is there someone to move the resolution? Councillor Neely, I see Councillor Kushniryk for the
Sorry,
second,
sorry.
just beat you to it.
Sorry,
Someplace over here, I have the checks. Before Councillor Blosha asks her first question, let me tell her a story, in case I preempt a question. The Manitoba hydro bill, you should note, is extremely high compared to normal. That relates to a Manitoba hydro issue. When we took over the rec center account, they said that unless we pre-authorized debits, they would charge us a deposit on the account. We have pre-authorized debit, there should be no deposit, however, they charged us anyway. We're in the process of disputing that. They also issued, the initial bill was $4,400. Because they didn't set up the pre-authorized debit in time, that bill didn't get paid. So it then caused a $14,000 bill the next month with that plus the current month plus the deposit. So that month they withdrew the $4,500 bill, then the $14,000 bill as well. So they've taken an additional $4,000 more than they should have, plus the deposit, which is almost $5,000 more than they should have. So the overall hydro bill is almost $27,000 here. Much of that should not have actually happened. And we're
So the
disputing it.
13,998 and the 4,600 we should be getting back?
Not all of it, but we should be paying about a $4,500 bill and about a $3,900 bill, one for each month. And all the rest of it is the deposit and the double charge.
It's about $9,000.
Yeah. So we have spoken to Hydro, we have emailed Hydro, they failed to do it, so we're going down to the Hydro office now to protest some more. Which we will get it back, it just makes it look bad this month.
Yeah.
Other questions? Go ahead.
580-900-130. It'll be right at the 174346 in there.
174, what are you talking about?
Well, if you go to the AMM trading,
Oh, okay,
the
yes,
two,
yes.
212,
Okay, I
but
get
go
it.
down to
Yeah.
the 580-900-130. What was that for? It says splash.
Oh,
park.
okay, I get it, that's insurance.
Oh, insurance,
So that
okay.
is the additional insurance for the splash park
Okay.
and the communications tower, we're both on that
Okay,
invoice.
insurance, okay, and then I have 202685, which is towards the end.
2685,
I believe it's 2026. It is.
Still under the AMM thing?
No, it's towards the end, but I just gotta find it. 22685, where did I get that?
oh, I get you, okay, certified tracking,
Yes, that's the one.
that's the GPSs.
Okay, GPS, and that's the yearly or the monthly?
The monthly.
Okay. Okay, that's what, that was what it was.
Okay, who else has questions? You guys are kind of boring if you can't come up with a question each.
Want me
Councillor
to help you?
Blosha always does.
I had one, I can't remember what it was now. Wasn't that important anyway.
Clear Tech on there, there's a bunch of refunds for drums, some of those are from a while ago, they just got the refunds done. Which is why you're seeing so many returns all at the same time. The formal motors ones, some of that relates to work done driving heavy duty where they just charge the parts to us. There's $1.89 to Johnson and Company Law Office. So that relates to a property transfer burrito that occurred earlier than had been intended on the original closing date and caused a lot of drama. And they needed to know the amount of the water bill several days before the water bills were issued. And so we attempted to calculate it correctly, but we missed by $1.89. And then they wished to have that money refunded because they didn't wish to make a donation to Swan Valley West for $1.89. So we have written a check and done it through accounting and probably spent $5 on refunding the $1.89. But we thank them for their patronage.
Terry's got one.
Oh, go ahead.
21263.
21263 Valley Door Systems.
Those tools, do they have an allowance or an amount that they can buy at once, or?
They do,
I thought they did.
yes.
I see there's 2 impact wrenches on there.
There is.
$1,100 worth of wrenches, 2 wrenches.
One of them was charged into the workshop, one was charged into small tools. And the rest of that relates to bridge repairs and door repairs.
Yeah, I see that.
How long before the bridge is done?
So the bridge has a temporary railing on it now.
Yeah, I saw
We're
that.
waiting for ArmTech to discuss with us when they have that metal available.
Okay.
It's on order, but they haven't got it yet.
Has to be bent at a certain length or something.
It's supposed to be stock parts, but at the same time, shipping just did cost a lot of money, so I think we're kind of trying to figure out a solution for that. Worst case, it can come with a culvert order and get put on, but it does have some railing now to keep people on.
Yeah, no, it's fine, it's well marked.
Can see it now at least.
Oh, yeah. It should withstand at least 2 or 3 grader hits now. It's pretty solid.
Well, it's, the greater blade should probably go right over,
Have
it's
a
pretty low.
We need a collapsible one.
I did mention to Public Works, they did such a good job on that bridge, they could go look at the Brown Bridge next.
Yeah.
Anything else, folks? Alright. Hearing nothing else, we'll call the question on the resolution. Those in favor? That's carried. 8.2, payroll checks. Be resolved, the Council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West hereby approves the following payments. Payroll payments number 1156 to 1171 in the amount of $33,024.09. Is there someone to move the resolution? Councillor Burick, who would like to second? Councillor Blosha. Copy of the payroll summary is attached in the private view of the agenda. Are there any questions or discussion? Hearing nothing, we'll call the question on the resolution. Those in favor? That's carried. 8.3, indemnities. Be it resolved, the Council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West hereby approves the following payments. Indemnity payments for the month of March 2026, number 4783 to 4791, the amount of $11,504.51. Copy of that summary is also attached to the agenda. Is there someone to move the resolution? Councillor McGregor, who would like to second it? Councillor Neely.
Just a question.
Go
I
ahead.
already have the answer, but I don't know about everybody else. My indemnity check this month is like $47 and something larger than normal, or than what it should be. I thought Lois outside and she advised me that it's something to do with mileage, it's been adjusted for the year or something.
So there has been a mileage adjustment
Certain
applied
length
to
of
these.
time or something else.
The rule for your income tax is that any mileage we pay you is taxable unless we pay it at the CRA prescribed rate. So we have to pay it at the right rate plus for the right kilometers. So for example, if you say I used about 100 kilometers, that's taxable. If you used exactly 92 kilometers, we can pay you that 92 kilometers at the prescribed rate, and it's not income you declare as income, it's reimbursement for the vehicle. What we discovered was that the CRA rate had not been updated in our computer, so we were paying it at the wrong amount. So if we just left it, we would have to adjust the T4s and you would all have to declare it as income. Whereas if we adjust it to the right rate, it's not income and it's not taxable. So there's an adjustment for anybody that had mileage in the last year or so. It was fixed. And it made us be legal.
I just wonder if anybody else noticed that. Wasn't what they had figured.
Anything else? Hearing nothing, we'll call the question. Those in favor? That too is carried. Bank reconciliations attached for your information. Take a peek at it. You can see the checks that are outstanding, deposits are outstanding, and what's in the bank at the moment. 8.5, budgetary control document. That is all our expenditures. You'll note that because the budget is not yet passed, it still says $0 budget on everything. And it's also only showing the lines that we have spent money in. Presuming the budget passes later tonight, the computer will be updated and you will see all the lines that are budgeted on the next report with zeros on anything that hasn't been spent yet. But it only shows lines where there has been something happen. Things are pretty well in hand there. For the most part, this is just attached for your information. At the moment, we're running a deficit of $866,000. But we'll keep doing that until we get to taxation time. There has been some income though, bless our heart. We've got $22,000 of interest already this year. just not so bad.
There you go.
Also, water sales have been billed. There's $34,000 from that, which is up a bit, which is a good thing. Helps the utility out when we charge more for water. So if people used a little bit more, plus the rate adjustments for the deficit rate riders. So we're in good shape there. Bulk water feels a little low, but wintertime people don't haul as much bulk either. So, any questions, discussion on that one? Alrighty then. 9.1 we kind of did earlier, so let's head to 9.2, dust control. You're good to keep going for a while? Nobody needs to break yet? Okay. So we have the quote from Fort. We don't have any other quotes yet. They were a cent more. We've been kicking around in the office some questions about how to charge for dust control this year. Last year we charged $5.50 for 500 feet. In the grand scheme of things, that did not quite cover what we spent on that. But we also had some amazing things go on where sometimes you use twice as much as we should in some places. It was a really wide road, and you did 2 passes instead of 1 pass. And so we wanted input from council. It's a cent a litre more. You know, we could probably go up to $5.75. By the time we hit $600, it's getting pretty steep for 500 feet of dust control. One discussion here was that we could charge a set amount of money for a certain amount of liters. And if you have a narrow road, we would put the same number of liters on it as the wide road, it would just go further. So you'd pay $550 and you get this much dust control product. And what that looks like on the ground kind of depends on where you live, which would be more fair. So you kind of got what you paid for. Because in some cases, little roads, you don't get $500 worth of it. On a big road, you might get $800 worth of it. Or do you want to keep it the same and just do 500 feet? What do you all think?
I don't know if people will understand how many liters we go.
I know.
Yeah, because some people pay double, like they pay for 1,000 feet,
Yeah.
so.
But if, and some people, I mean, if you have to make 2 passes, they're gonna say, well, you got so far done, why did I only get, you know? So you have a lot of explaining to do. I think just leave it the way it is and.
Well, by the foot,
On
everybody.
the
can
narrow
go.
road, I only wanna pay $300 now,
I
cause on
know.
the skinnier
Well,
road,
this is it, right? Okay, so you want to just keep it 500 feet for a price? Do you want to adjust the price from 550, or is, last time we discussed this, we thought 550 was as high as we could go before we were pricing ourselves out of the market.
Well, are we pricing ourselves out of the market or do people need it?
I
It
know.
doesn't matter to us, right? It matters to that person that lives there.
Preferably,
But then the excess is picked up by the other ratepayers that don't
don't get any.
get any. Do you know what I mean? Like, cause we're not charging enough, we're not,
No, you mean the overage.
Yeah.
What we were short last.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I
That's what I
understand,
mean.
but if we raise it to $600, if you want it, you pay it.
true,
We can't do this and lose money.
no,
That's right.
no, we're not doing it to lose money,
Right.
no. No, it has to go up if you're losing money on it.
Yeah, it's like everything
Yeah.
else goes up. I don't like raising prices, but I don't like losing money either.
well, it's just, the trouble is when we lose money, it's people that don't get any that pay for it.
Yeah,
If it was a money tree we went and collected it from would be one thing, but, you know, somebody that has no dust control, then pays $1 or $2 towards all the people that do. It's not very fair.
that's what I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that's exactly what I meant too, it's
Yeah,
not
that-
really
you-
right
you
that
meant, yeah.
somebody that doesn't
But
have
plus,
it's
we
paying for
we
it.
didn't cover our expenses last year with what the amount we charged,
And
right?
we never do, because there's roads we do a
Twice,
tornado and
because
such.
it didn't take
Yeah.
right or something.
Or
But-
there's roads we do for ourselves.
Or we drove
Yeah.
through with a grader, yeah.
And even where there's a gas line, we have to do over the gas line.
Yeah,
You know, it's just part of how the gas line works, but last year, we probably lost an additional $5,000 that should have been charged to people who got dust control, just because of how it worked out. So if we went to 600, we'd be a lot closer.
yeah, I
to
think,
the
It might
actual cost
still
of
be a
doing
little
so.
short, but
A little bit, but not as bad.
Oh, go for
So the
600.
expense just went up that much?
I think a lot of it relates to this idea of how wide the roads are. And some of them are just costing way more to do. And even within that, so we have a road and so we come and do it. Do we need to do the last foot right to the grass or not? Well, last year we did right to the grass. We probably could bring that in a foot on
Yeah,
either side,
yeah.
because not many people put their wheel out right on the grass. And it does slowly spread out too. So if we do right to the grass, we're putting a bunch in the ditch.
Right.
You know, so we could certainly watch a little closer.
So how wide is that boom for one pass?
It can change a bit because they have additional pieces they can put on or take off. But that also, like, I've been out and seen them where they forgot to hook the boom up right. I put 500 liters on the ground in a puddle. We pay for that also. You know, human error happens. If they forget the boom on, they forget whatever, we pay based on the total use, even if it was an accident.
So what was the price last year then?
$550.
For 550 for 500 or 600?
feet,
500 feet.
feet.
550, 500 feet. So now you say it should go up to 600 for 500 feet.
At least 575, but 600 is probably the true cost.
No, I'd go for, like
It's
you
about an
say,
8% increase.
it's not fair for somebody to subsidize somebody else.
No, it should be that.
No, you should, if you want calcium, 600 for 500.
Yeah, like $50 more, can't even buy a bottle of whiskey hardly, you know?
Oh,
I mean,
Right, so are we thinking 600 for 500 feet? And we'll do the prorate if you want 1,000 or if you want whatever, okay? Be resolved, the municipality of Swan Valley West offered dust control services to private individuals with a cost of $600 for 500 feet with additional options based upon this price. So someone to move the resolution. Councillor Burick, who would like to second it?
I'm
Councillor
going
Neely.
out anyways, I don't have to worry about re-election.
Easy to see.
You can always appoint you.
He's too
do
liberal
that.
to get re-elected.
when did we go over, the sites that's supposed to be half paid or whatever? Do we go over that later on, or?
We set them
Oh,
last
heaven
year.
help us. We aren't doing that again, are we?
No, we set them
That's what I'm
last
saying,
year.
so what we said last year stays the
Yeah.
same?
Oh, yes, please.
Yes.
Okay. As long as you remember Pioneer Road.
You owe me.
How can we forget?
So $1 dollar.
Brian, it's embedded in our brain after all these.
Pioneer Road, well, I had a hard time getting it last year on time. It was
We've been talking about that in the office for 2 weeks now,
2 weeks, okay?
and there are more than one person that bet me whether or not you would bring it up tonight. I did not even push you to it. You did it all on your own.
Well, it's,
Yeah. Those in favor? That's carried. Let's go to 9.3, Rise. This one is gonna have, this is really just not for resolution, it's for discussion. So some of you were at the G4 meeting, many of you weren't. Rise update on what's happened. So the town of Swan River has budgeted to hire their own economic development officer and operate their own economic development plan. They are in the feeling that they wish to have Swan Valley Rise dissolved. Have the money in Swan Valley Rise refunded to the participants so they can take that money and do as they please with it. If you think this sounds familiar, it does. About 4 years ago, it was a different council that wanted to dissolve Rise. That was the Municipality of Swan Valley West. And wanted to take that money and build a fire hall. It didn't happen at the time, but it's looking more likely now. At the G4 meeting, there was great discussion about the economic development officer. The town suggested that other municipalities may want to pay towards it, so as to have the economic development as officer help look after them. The questioning then went to, would we get input on what the economic development officer did? And they said, no, absolutely not. Only the town of Swan River would tell the economic development officer what to do, but we could pay for some of the cost. Didn't go over as well as you would think. Or if you know the group, maybe it went over exactly as well as you think. Rise is holding a meeting on May 5th, I believe it is the next Rise meeting. By the way, it's May 5th, so you should plan for that. There's gonna be discussion there. Rise has that book on the go, it's got a couple of little projects on the go. Certainly the push from the town and from Minnetonka's Bozeman is to dissolve Rise. Mountain seems to be on the fence about it. They would like to stay in Rise and still do economic development with the other partners, but they're pretty nervous if the town's pulling out and taking all their money with them, how much more money it would cost the rest of us to do anything. Minnetona certainly looks from their language like they're pulling out of it and then going on their own thing too. I've said we really don't want to dissolve Rise as far as I know. We would kind of like economic development to happen, especially for Swan Valley West. And the mayor went so far as to say during the meeting that the priorities of Swan River will never be the same as the priorities of the rural municipality. Which makes me think there won't be a whole lot of support for us out of that economic development officer. So we want to spend a few minutes tonight and kind of get your thoughts on all of this and see where you think we should go or what we should do, how it could work. I know Councillor Blosha shared some thoughts at the G4 meeting. Not everybody was there to hear them. Some very publicly and some privately at our table. If you want to share some of those, that would be fine, and everybody else could chime in a bit on just what you think about all of this. Do you want to start us off?
Well, I don't want to put into the town of Swan River's EDO. That was made clear. I think we have the capability of doing our own promoting too. Like we do have someone in the office in Benito now that could do those kind of things for us. And we have the know-how when we put our heads together. Rise itself, never been a huge fan, so I can't say too much. That's all I know.
One option I've floated to the others is that if they're leaving, we may just take Rise and keep it as a economic development corporation that we run ourselves. Because there's a few reasons why that's beneficial to not have council do it directly, to do it through something. There's some granting, some things you can do. And so if nobody else wants to be in it, we could just take it and rename it to Swan Valley West, whatever. But keep the corporate structure, because then we don't have to make a new corporation do all that, because it all exists.
What do the costs look like that for us, for our municipality, sorry?
Well, it costs about $100 a year to keep Rise existing, so it's
Yeah,
not much.
so not much.
Yeah. Councillor Neely.
We do have an economic development trainee in our midst.
You speak of Councillor Burick.
We have a member council here that's taken all the courses required to be an economic development officer.
And to that point, I completely agree with Councillor Blosha. We can do it ourselves. Look what we've done so far. You know, the whole cricket farm thing. That's a success in that we just got the name out there for Benito.
I don't mean
Everybody
even,
heard about Benito.
yeah, like I don't even mean just the cricket farm. I mean the things that are happening in the municipality. Like there's little businesses popping up everywhere. That's we didn't attract that. They attracted to us. There's the splash park. It's attracting more families that actually want to come there. Like
My disappointment is it should be the valley.
Exactly.
We should make this valley better, because if we start dividing this valley up into 4 pieces, and everybody goes their own direction, how stupid do we look everywhere else?
Exactly.
And year after year, we do that on something, whether it's economic development this year or a fire hall a different year. You know, like, if we don't just go the same direction, we would be such a force to be reckoned with in this province.
My problem is putting money into something that we're not going to see a benefit for, that our ratepayers are not going to see a benefit for, and I have a hard time putting in money to something that they're not going to see a benefit to.
You know, it's so easy to work together, but yet it's so difficult. Like why, like, doesn't make sense, everybody work together, 4 municipalities, 1 officer, work together, but yet it's so difficult.
Well, one example is the GIS system. If it wasn't for all 4 getting on board, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
You know, that's,
Yeah, it wouldn't work with just 1.
no.
Councillor McGregor, your thoughts?
I agree with Councillor Blosha. I don't see any reason why we couldn't do it ourselves. We've done a lot of great things. Keep going.
Councillor Zbirun, what to say you?
I, like you, if everybody divides up into 4 things, that's a sad day. And I am really surprised, and I'd like to know which families quit their jobs and whatnot to come to our splash park to live in Benito.
No, I didn't say that they're quit there. I just said it's attracting people to want to come into Benito, not to live in Benito. There's no home. Like it's just attracting, which in turn gives those businesses more people. It's not like no. So you're misreading my
I see.
words.
I see. But no, it's to divide everybody up into 4 pieces, and maybe it'll work good. Maybe everybody will have their little
Kingdom.
Kingdom and,
Yeah, but it's just like having two fire departments, a mile apart. So you're gonna have all these different rise partners and nobody working together. Like, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Are they considering reevaluating their decision, or they're stuck on it? Like, it sounded like they're stuck on it that night.
I think they're pretty stuck.
They're
on
stuck
it.
on it, okay? There's
They,
no,
and like, you know, a lot of these conversations happen behind closed doors. So not a lot of what I'm gonna say has necessarily been discussed in the public version here before. But they're pretty hung up on being the master of their own destiny for economic development. They have no interest in working with others, and that's not news. That's been going on for the last 3.5 years. You know, when they come to those RISE meetings, the town of Swan River reps have been assigned various tasks to help RISE out because we're a working committee. We don't have a hired person right now. And so, you know, around the table, everybody's given their stuff to do. They have not completed a single one of them in 3.5 years. You know, when they need to go to the bank to sign papers, it can be 6 months. When they need to go and work on something for the book, it's just not done. And I end up doing it. The trade shows we were going to go to at RISE, you know, they put up their hands and said they were going, and so we book all that stuff, and then they change their mind and won't go, but it's too late to send somebody else because you only find out a few days ahead and you're canceling. And that's all fine, life happens. But what pisses me off is they then stand up in front of everybody and say RISE is useless and doesn't get anything done. Well, the reason it's useless and doesn't get anything done is they don't help.
yeah, yeah.
You know, they go it on their own, and it's like they're forever taking shots at it. And, you know, it's not a secret to the people around this table, but about a year ago, I was summoned over to the town of Swan River office, and I was lectured by the mayor for half an hour. And what the mayor promised that day was he would destroy RISE. Not a surprise we're here now. You know, and to do that because you're angry about who was interviewed on CBC radio and who wasn't, it's unfortunate. But it seems to be the class of politics some people are playing. So, it troubles me. Councillor Kushniryk, you haven't chimed in yet.
No, to me, I just don't see the point of trying to continue. If somebody doesn't wanna be part of something, we can't force them. It's not gonna work anyways, we're gonna just keep hitting the same stone wall. We would still be open to working together with Mountain if we retained RISE. And I think our only real expense is we've been self-auditing too, right?
It was self-audit, so we pay $100 a
So
year to
it's-
company's office to
there's
keep the
nothing.
company alive.
Yeah.
I did work out numbers, I don't have them tonight, we would stand to get back $70,000, $80,000. So we would either get that back here, if we kept RISE ourselves, it would just stay in the RISE bank account, but it would still be our money to then do whatever we wanted with.
If RISE-
Minnetonka's Bozeman, sorry.
No.
Minnetonka's Bozeman doesn't wanna have anything to do with either us or Swan or Mountain or,
From what we heard at the G4 meeting, they didn't sound like it. They had copies of the RISE Constitution, were working through how to dissolve RISE, and were kind of looking for as much money as they could get back. RISE has about $200,000 of funds that aren't planned for use on something. So this formula for that would see most of it go to the town of Swan River and Swan Valley West, some to Minnetonka's and a little bit to Mountain.
And then they have to go back and look who paid and who didn't, because
Yes,
there was
there's-
payments not made
well,
as
there's-
well.
Minnetonka's will be surprised to find out they didn't pay some of the years and get a lot less back. Because the years they didn't pay, they won't get anything back for. So assuming everybody had paid, which isn't the case, Minnetonka's would get 44,000, Swan Valley West would get 72, almost 73. Mountain would get 19,000, the town of Swan River would get about $74,000 back. But there'll be some adjustment for Minnetonka's having not paid.
so is that Minnetonka's idea that if they dissolve it, get out of it, then they don't have to worry about the bill that they owe there, that they'll be saving
Well,
that
yeah, I
money?
doubt they,
I
well, they
think
just
they-
wouldn't get back that amount
Yeah.
that's set there, because they never paid it.
At all?
No,
No,
they missed a year and they never caught it up.
yeah.
Okay.
So, I don't know that that's really their goal so much as there seems to be just some hate on for RISE. And, you know, for the last 3 years, when they come to the meetings, they just don't like RISE. They think it's a waste of time and there's no point putting anything into the valley trying to make it better. For a while, they had plans to go do their own thing, but that's kind of fallen through as well.
So is it actually Rise or is it me? Me.
Maybe me, not you.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
is it the people they're playing with, or is it the organization itself?
Rise has always had a tough life. If you go back 8 years, Rise had hired an EDO and an assistant EDO, and they were kind of going places. The Rise board couldn't stay out of the inner workings of that. You know, and here we do a really good job of doing things well. We say we want the roads fixed, we'd like this fixed, we'd like that fixed, but we don't all call the lead hand and tell them. Rise was having troubles with that. You know, each board member would pick something they wanted, and they would incessantly call the EDO every day asking for it, wanting updates, and only to work on that, not anything else. And it drove the EDO nuts to the point they quit. Both they quit and the assistant quit, because they just couldn't take, you know, I'm not saying they know better than elected council, but when they're doing it every day, they know where the opportunities are, and they can say, hey, let's look at this, we should try this, what do you think? And the answer is, no, we told you to do this instead, don't look at that. Well, pretty soon you're not happy because you're not accomplishing anything, because if this can't be done, you know, one of the examples was a valley-wide incinerator project to replace all the landfills. And so they worked through for quite some time, and they did all the numbers, they did all the work, and they came back to the board and reported on, this is what it'll cost to build, this is how much garbage we have to have, this is how much there is here, there's not enough garbage here to keep it going, here's the communities we'd have to haul the garbage from, we'd have to bring Dauphin and the Potta here too, Dauphin has a regional landfill, so they probably won't want to do it, and they came up with, here's the answer, but that wasn't good enough. And so instead of saying, you know, the project, this won't work, let's try the next thing, it just kept on going, no, we have to make that work. Well, it couldn't work. You gotta take your opportunities where you can get them. You know, Rise, the new hotel is being built in Swan River. One day the phone rang at Rise, and it was a consultant wanting to talk about whether or not we thought there should be a hotel. And so we put 2 or 3 days work into all the numbers, all the, you know, what the current hotels are doing, what we have for events here, which events we know can't come because we can't fit the people. We didn't go and call 100 people for a hotel, but we certainly made sure that when someone showed any interest in it, we trotted the dog and pony show to convince them to come, and the end result is we're building a hotel in Swan River. Well, that's Rise. We just don't want to admit that, and the town especially doesn't want to admit that. When the town found out Rise had been involved in that, I got another lecture. Why did Rise have anything to do with that? You should have just referred that to the town. Rise shouldn't have anything to do with it. But it's economic development. Of course we should have something to do with it. We should be getting a new hotel. Heck, well, let's have a second one, if we could swing it. But it just, the politics have gotten so extreme, and they have been for so many years with Rise. I went to an economic development meeting a few years ago. The town was there as well. And at the meeting, the town announced, yeah, you know, people call us all the time about stuff in Swan Valley West, but really don't know how things work there, so we just tell them we can't help them. As have you ever thought, like, do you give them my phone number? No, why would we? I was like, well, that's kind of disappointing, right? If they phone, it's pretty common for people to call the wrong office when we're a block apart. Just refer them over, or refer them to Rise, or do something, right? Rather than say, no, we can't help you. It just, my only hope for Rise is that after the election, change the people around the table, and maybe new people see things differently and see more importance in working together. You know, Swan River had 4 or 5 new council members, and they wanted to work together on things like water, shared services, economic development. Maybe there'd be some headway.
I just can't believe that people can't realize that what happens in this municipality benefits all 4 municipalities in our valley. A good example is LP. Okay, yeah, Manitoba's got it, they get the tax base, fine. But the spin-off from that place, grazers are out there working full-time, and that's a business in town, you know, like, so it's just an example, you know, how, or it can go the other way, you know, it's just, and even a hotel, it benefits everybody in the valley. Because if there's some kind of events on and stuff, if they go to those events, the relatives come or whatever, you know, it's just.
And that brought people into the valley.
The narrow-mindedness of it all.
Yeah.
So I've asked all municipalities to provide some direction to their RISE reps. Brad and I are our RISE reps. What would you say your direction is to us at the RISE meeting as this is discussed?
I would say that, I don't want to speak for everybody, I'll speak for myself, but feeling is to keep it going on our own.
Yeah, well, that's the only way it's gonna work
And
anyway.
if we can
because-
keep the corporation and keep all the paperwork intact and do
Yeah.
the best we can, and like you said, maybe down the road, another council will decide that maybe we've better, there's strength in numbers there, you know, I don't know.
Does that fairly represent everybody's thoughts?
I'd say so. Yeah, I could.
We will bring that viewpoint forward. 9.4, the G4 meeting. Proposed date is June 29th. We've been asked to confirm if that works for us. What's the feeling of the group for June 29th?
I know I won't.
Okay,
I looked
Right now, it looks good. And where is that going to be held?
that is the town of Swan River.
Oh, that's the town one. They have a,
Usually the Veterans Hall.
Good.
Mostly okay? Okay.
Should we finish capping by now?
Sure you will.
29th, I got it written down.
Okay, 9.5, whereas the owners of Southeast 938 27 West made application for conditional use to change the use of an existing 46 by 70 shop into a commercial safety repair and vehicle inspection shop for personal and commercial use within the agricultural zone, AG. Therefore be it resolved, the council of the municipality of Swan Valley West will set a public hearing date for April 28th, 2026 at 7:25 p.m. in order to hear from those who may be opposed to or supportive of the proposed conditional use. Moved by Councillor Blosha. Who would like to second that? Councillor Zbirun. You've been through this before. We're simply setting the date here tonight, not making a decision. Because this is an MPI vehicle safety inspection station, this is a requirement for them to be able to be certified. So we're doing it. We have charged them the fee. The advertising will go out, and we'll be back here in a couple weeks. Those in favor? That is carried. Benito landfill update, lengthy letter there. The Coles Notes version is that we should probably keep putting garbage into that cell as long as we possibly can and get on with the drawings for a new one. So if council's okay with it, we're gonna pursue how we get those drawings done for that new cell and try and get that through environment as quickly as possible. If we run out of space, we're gonna be hauling it to Swan River.
Is that what came out of all of that? Cause I read it and I'm telling you.
Guy is so wordy. When he's on the phone with you, it's like this too. It's a half hour to get through one sentence.
Yeah, I can refer back to 2.1.
And then it goes back.
Go back to 2. What the hell is 2.1? Well, then you gotta go back there. But the way I sort of read it was, we could do something with the existing one if we burned it up and,
It certainly sounded from this like we should go put another foot of berm around it.
yeah,
Yes.
and we could use it for another
Little while.
year or
Yeah.
two, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
Yeah. I think we have those original drawings, and we might find that berm is a foot or two too low. I just have to fix it to what the engineer said originally.
and pump the water out of it, can you do that? Can you pump the water over into
You
the?
have to put it into a leachate pond of some sort,
But
but
can you, that's what I mean, can you pump it out of the hole and over to that pond or?
we don't have the pond yet.
Oh, yeah, we have no
We
pond
have
at
no
all.
pond.
Okay, over the hill will work, no.
Don't say the quiet part out loud.
Oh,
We would
okay.
never do that.
Yeah,
But
okay.
the water management there, part of the issue is floating plastic in the water, which keeps it from evaporating. So the more of that water we can get to evaporate, and the less water goes in there, and certainly at the one end, if you look at it when it rains, guess where the water goes to?
Into the hole.
Yeah, so if we build that up so rainwater can't get in, the rest of it will evaporate out, and we'll have a lot less problem.
Exactly.
Cause it said something about putting 2 foot and grade, have a grade to it and all this.
Yeah.
So,
So,
so we gotta do something, right?
we sure do. But we'll get started on the plans for the, you probably saw in there the $40,000 cost to tender it out. I don't think we'll do
About how come we have to pay to tender it?
I don't know. I don't think we're going to. I think we'll just
Cause that's
tender it
maybe if
ourselves.
you went through them and they did it for you or something,
Mhm.
with all the specs and all.
But once the engineering thing is there, it's, If we can't build it ourselves, we can easily hire a contractor to build it,
Yeah,
but certainly,
well, we can help, can't we, as long under their supervision or something to say?
once it's engineered, we can just go, as long as we build what the engineer says to build, he has to come look at it after and say we did it. But we can go there with a track hoe and some stuff and
Well, so you
make a
don't
hole.
have to have him there watching you do it and stuff. Okay.
Not the whole time,
It looks rather complicated, that thing.
it does. Anything else on landfill stuff? Let's go to 9.7. Be resolved that bylaw number 011726, being a bylaw of the Municipality of Swan Valley West for the purpose of levying taxes for the year 2026, shall be introduced and read a second time this 14th day of April 2026. Is there someone who wishes to move the resolution? Councillor Neely and Councillor Kushniryk. You're just so slow.
A little bit slow tonight.
Yeah, we'll get to the
on
next
the
one.
third one, Brian.
Any discussion on second reading? Hearing nothing, we'll call the question. Those in favor? Let's move to 9.8. Be it resolved that bylaw number 011726, being a bylaw of the Municipality of Swan Valley West for the levying of taxes for the year 2026, shall be read a third time this 14th day of April 2026 and be signed by the Reeve and signed and sealed by the Chief Administrative Officer. Is there someone who wishes to move the resolution? Councillor Burick.
Isn't this a recorded vote too?
It will be a recorded vote. Second by Councillor McGregor. Let me save this. And then let's go to the voting screen. Is there any discussion on third reading? A copy of it's attached.
One question.
Go ahead.
The school tax, what is the actual percentage that's gonna affect our tax? Do you know, like?
Off the top of my head,
10.
was it 9.8, 9.9? It was just about 10
Percent higher.
from last year.
Do you mean just how much higher is the school tax, or how much is the average overall bill
Well,
gonna be affected?
well, how much is our taxes gonna, not our taxes, but I mean, the whole bill.
That's what I think he means,
Okay.
how much will it play into the
Yeah,
whole?
yeah,
I think the answer will be around 6.
okay.
But I'm kind of just guessing that. I didn't take a calculator to
So.
it. Because we went up
If
barely
it
anything.
was $1 last year, the taxes, my taxes, whatever, then now it'll be 6% higher than.
I think so, yeah.
All right.
Because our taxes technically went down slightly.
Yeah.
But theirs have gone up a lot.
Yeah.
And if we were both equal,
That's
then it
right.
would be half of theirs, but
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
quite that
Okay.
much. Yeah. A calculator.
Other total.
Yeah, no, the rough, I mean, you
Yeah.
don't need to, but it's not like 40% up.
No, no, because
Well, that's what
it's
it
not
looked-
going up softened it so much.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like when we first got the
Yeah,
figures, so.
yeah. Okay,
But they had two budgets overlapping or something.
Yeah, because there's some charge this year for next year and some
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, it is a recorded vote. Those that wish to vote yes, please indicate that. Well, that's all of us. Good job. So in recent memory at least, first this is Carrie, I should note that. I believe this is the earliest we have completed a budget in Swan Valley West history. Which I know isn't that long, it only goes back to 2016. Which, thank you. We've all worked hard at this, the staff have worked hard, and we've accomplished it. Instead of being a day before the deadline, we're actually done early. And what an amazing place to be at for once. Thank you all. 9.9. We're going to discuss this for a while first. So as you know, the CAO spent a lot of time doing grant applications, and she did pretty well.
Yeah,
She got
I
some money.
It's a lot of fireworks.
It is a lot of fireworks. So we have a letter here, and for whatever reason, I have it in the official hard of seeing format. It's a little bigger. Awarding us $6,500 for Canada Day in Benito this year. We had kind of attached a copy of the grant application because it kind of spoke to what we promised to do with the money. We shot high here, as you would expect us to do, because we knew we weren't going to get it all. So we had proposed almost $10,000 of federal funding for this. And we got $6,500, which is pretty good. And throughout the thing, we indicate if we don't fund the full amount, then we're not putting as much money in either. This is supposed to be somewhat shared. You know, it's not to be just their money. We're supposed to do some matching with it. There's some ways to work on those numbers. So for example, say we buy a bunch of burgers, but then we also sell those burgers. Well, the burgers is clearly our part of it, and if there was some income from it, well, that's happens sometimes. So we need to approve tonight what we're giving to Canada Day. The way I wrote the resolution was that it's authorized for expenditures of the committee if required. So if they don't need to spend the money, they wouldn't. And the suggestion is also that we form a committee to do this. I think the rec board has one or two people that are interested in being part. I know I'm interested in it. There might be a couple more people here that want to be part of kind of doing the planning. And we would like to pawn this off on a committee so that this isn't coming back to council every time for, here's a little decision, here's a little decision. We kind of let the committee go do it. I have not yet got official word from the town of Swan over their plans for Canada Day. I want to know if they're doing fireworks the night before like they did the last year. Because if they are, that would leave us the only place doing fireworks on actual Canada Day, which would make for a lot bigger crowd. But certainly we need to do fireworks, we need to do games and such like we proposed here. We have not yet heard about the additional money for soccer funding. So we did put a second grant application in to pay us money to have a soccer tournament that week or that day. So if by chance that comes through, then it would be additional funding on top of this. What do we want to do with the committee? Are we good with that, first of all?
I just have a question. You said we have to be seen as putting something into it. So in other words, of the 65, if we put $1,000 into it, or do we have to equal what they put into it?
It would be nice if on paper we said 6,500, but that if required part was kind of my out for not spending it all. And then we aren't allowed to buy any food with their money. So if we bought the food that was going to then be sold,
Your
Yes.
money back.
see where I'm going there? To have the expense but get the income back as well. So it doesn't, you know, we're not out of pocket the full 6,500.
So we got basically $13,000 for the day.
Yeah,
Well, usually but usually honestly, there's $10,000 expense.
Yeah.
Like when the rec board was
Well,
doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
So,
I
they're
don't-
like, so that's not a,
and we have a
they would
major-
make it back.
Major fireworks would be.
I wasn't counting fireworks in that.
Well, yeah, that
yeah,
would
because
be.
just the day of stuff there was
Just the
costing
day
around
of
10 to
stuff,
do.
because they bought, like, I mean, I'm counting food and that which they sold, so they got money back.
Yeah,
But I
the
know there
total
was an
expenses
expense,
themselves
but they
were
also
10,000.
made that
They
back.
also bought the trophies for the car show, or wasn't?
No, those were all donated.
They were donated?
Always
Okay.
donated. I know that because we donated one.
Yeah.
Well, there's opportunity to go and see if some people want to sponsor some things too.
Yes.
Or, you know, right, like we can look for some trophies and such, like there's lots to
Yeah.
do, which is part of why I want so badly in a committee.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be coming back here all the time for the nuts and bolts of how it works. We need to pawn it off on some other group to do, ideally a group that we kind of control, so it doesn't get out of hand.
I agree, there should be a committee and it should be close to Benito. That puts me and you over. Right?
No, I agree with that, yeah, it should be,
Okay,
there's four. Carrie's goes.
5.
No, I'm.
Or Bill's goes, yeah, you guys.
These two are
Okay,
big.
farthest away.
Who from here wants to be on the committee?
How many do you need?
And when I
Whatever.
said RJ. 'cause
RJ and I,
he's
do you
part
want
of
to be
the group.
involved?
Whatever.
Okay, so that's a yes. Byron, do you want to be involved? I'm not.
Carrie?
No, I'm not here on.
Oh, you're not here?
So
Okay,
I can.
so we'll
help
put 3 of
before,
us. I think we'll see if we find someone from the rec board. I'm thinking Mike and Ryan might be interested from there to kind of be involved a little bit.
Yeah, and you don't
And then
need
we'll see.
100 people.
No,
You
just,
just need planners.
yeah. And then we'll get some volunteers and figure it out. What dollar value do we wish to contribute?
Well, what do we have to contribute?
It would be really good if it said $6,500.
So you match it.
Yeah,
to
I think
match
we
it.
Like we match? Okay.
Is that
With,
agreeable?
with some promise of a
With some hope
return.
that we have some solutions to,
Yeah, yeah.
not necessarily just throwing the biggest party you've ever seen.
Creative financing.
That's how grants work, you gotta be creative. And some of that, you know, if Public Works goes and sets up picnic tables, that's part of that, right?
Yeah, well, it could be, so.
Because it's part of the.
Especially if they had to
contribution
build 20 more of them.
too. Yes. Okay, so resolution, be it resolved that a candidate committee be formed to plan and operate the celebrations of video this year. Be it further resolved that $6,500 be authorized for expenditures of the committee if required. Does somebody move the resolution?
Come on, Benito.
Councillor Kushniryk and Councillor McGregor. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. Those in favor? That's carried.
This could be the biggest New Year's or Canada Day celebration.
You know, it's economic development.
Canada Day, so.
It's on a Wednesday. This will be one of the best Canada Days there is. Any closer to a weekend, people take the Friday off and leave. But when it's on a Wednesday, it's one of the best attended Canada Days you can get.
It could be the biggest Canada Day.
So-
celebration.
Isn't there some singer or
That's when
some
you should have
performer they
that
were
one
supposed
thing
to, we could get for this? That guy that was supposed to come.
There is some options.
No, but remember the,
RJ?
Oh,
RJ,
some guy was
No,
having your
no.
car show on the
coming
site?
to Benito or something.
Carrie.
Yeah.
That's good, because before you used to,
Oh, yeah, no.
before you used to have it at Gade, Buffalo Junction.
In camera.
Okay, 9:10.
Oh boy.
I'm sorry there.
I never mentioned any name.
No, I know.
Earlier, well, I guess it was last week now, we had a presentation came to us here. Kristi and I attended, I think all the office staff went and looked. So they brought us a handy van to see what modern handy vans look like. So I just attached some pictures here. It's basically one of those transit vans. We were in it. It's actually really nice. It's set up as an 8-passenger, or I guess a 9-passenger bus. So it can accommodate 2, 4, or 6 wheelchairs, depending on how many seats you take out. Or it can just be people sitting. The entry is really easy to get in. It's a Class 5 driver's license because it's less than 10 passengers. So anyone can drive this. The cost isn't cheap. It's about $160,000 as you look at it. But it was just kind of neat to see where it's at now because it's so different than the handy vans we've seen in the past. And certainly, you know, you can stand up in there. I can stand up without bending over. This is the type of thing that would be pretty good for people that are having trouble getting to town to medical appointments and such. Not saying we spent $160,000 on it, but it's neat to see what's out there now. So,
Be nice to have for the valley.
yes, for the whole valley, because it could run around here, you know, and it would do better on gas than the old type handy vans do that are bigger. And it would also be good, you know, outside of that, if you bring a group of people in and want to show them around the valley that might want to build a business, you put them in this
So
thing.
you could use that.
It's comfy
You
and away
said
you go.
160? You said 160?
160.
It's not bad, you take some new vehicles now, the SUVs are 130.
135,000 for a diesel truck.
Yeah. No, that's not bad. Comparing.
9/11 Services to Seniors has sent us a grant request. They're asking for an operational grant of $1,000 or any amount our council feels appropriate. Typically, we do provide them some amount of money that varies from year to year a little bit. What are your thoughts on this?
We've never given to this. This is relatively new, isn't it?
We have given
No, we
some.
have.
Did we give to
Yeah.
them before?
A
Is it
couple
our-
of years ago, we gave them money. They kind of had a little shortfall at the end of the year. We gave them a little extra, but typically we'll give them a bit each year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, I didn't.
It's just if you look
yeah, I
at the
don't
top, they
remember.
have the 3 things on top. I believe they were Lifeline, was
Yeah,
what we used to
we
call
would've-
it.
yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah,
would've
the
called it
Lifeline
Yes,
thing, yeah.
so it's all together now, so.
Okay, they've expanded.
Well,
But they've gone
I
a
think
bit.
it was always like that, it was just written differently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we used to see it. We always contributed to the Lifeline.
Yeah.
Yes,
And then a couple of years ago, they had some trouble with, because they go to all the community centers, so they go to Benito Drop-In and do seniors programming there.
Yeah.
And they were a little short on cash, we gave them an extra $500 or something specific for Benito's thing. And here they're just asking for basically $1,000 flat. Or a different amount if we so feel.
well, I think it's the,
Do we
yeah.
have that on our list of donations for, in our budget thing, or, I mean, it's only.
We kinda just put a number up
It's
there,
only
we said when it's going.
$1,000, so it's not big.
That's one of the biggest trouble start, it's only.
Yeah. No, it's something we've always done, so.
I would have thought normally 650, 600. wasn't
Yeah, or
Like,
was it
no,
550 or
maybe.
650?
It was not 1,000.
No, it was not
Typically it was
1,000.
$700, I think, for that Lifeline thing.
Because we used to buy what one Lifeline cost
No,
every
I
year,
feel
right?
like
I
it
think
About
it was
one
$700.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Rings a bell for some reason. Maybe not.
So we do the same thing or giving what they ask?
Totally up to you folks, that's why you get paid the big bucks to sit around this table.
And the money's coming from, out of where? Do we have a set?
It's gonna come out of that.
Out of that
grants.
grant that we
Yeah.
put there. Seniors paid the taxes a lot longer than we did, so I think we should give them what they're asking.
Oh, the $1,000.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so there's 2 people thinking 1,000, one thinking a little less. What does the rest think?
$1,000.
$1,000.
$1,000?
Yep.
wanna get real generous, we can do a sponsorship thing down below there, too.
I think they're just showing how they use it, right? No? I thought that.
You can sponsor specific things. I think if you
Oh.
want to spend $1,000, you could pick one of those or such.
Oh, I see.
Give them $1,000, I guess, see what happens after that.
Be it resolved the grant of $1,000 be given to the Swan River District Community Resource Council for operations, including programming at the Video Drop-In Center. Is that good wording?
Yeah.
Okay, moved by Councillor Neely, second by Councillor Blosha.
You're not even a senior in your voting.
Close.
She's close, yeah. Any further discussion? Hearing nothing, we'll call the question. Those in favor? That's
I'm
carried.
married to one.
Close enough.
All right, we giveth money away, let's taketh some, whereas various accounts remain unpaid. Therefore be it resolved, the following utility accounts be moved to taxes. Roll 314-100, $711.64. Roll 306-100, $931.92. Roll 316-800, $369.15. Roll 320-900, $497.66. Roll 203-000, $988.37. These amounts all relate to outstanding water bills. Is there someone to move the resolution?
Nobody wants to.
Councillor Zbirun first, and then I think Councillor Kushniryk beat Councillor Neely by a second. Of note, the final one, roll 203-000, there was a property transfer done on that property while that bill was outstanding. Typically, the law firm would contact us for outstanding amounts and would be taken care of at that time, but they did not do that. Which means that some of that outstanding bill is from the previous owner now being applied to the new owner. Which might raise some eyebrows some places, but ultimately that's why the lawyers should always contact us to check out those outstanding amounts, and then it's all taken care of during the transfer and this doesn't happen. But don't be too surprised if you get some phone calls from someone a little upset about that, but they can go back to who they bought it from and ask for the money back. I don't know how that will work. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. Those in favor? That's carried. 9:13, let's start with some happier news. The Benito Hotel has passed its final fire inspection. Their intention had been to open in the next few days with a liquor license. Unfortunately, the fire inspection took a little longer than expected, and their temporary authorization for liquor expired in the meantime. So they're not able to just file the paperwork and immediately license. They now have to re-advertise the expected license. They will open on the 27th of April for food and lodging, but there'll be no alcohol on the 27th of April. That'll take a few more weeks to get in place. There are invitations coming to council members for a party on the 26th of April to celebrate the launch of the hotel. They will need RSVPs to those. We'll be in touch with you shortly to find out from each of you if you're able to attend or not. Certainly you're welcome to if you want, but they're kind of wanting to make sure they fill up all the seating and not have a bunch of seats empty that they saved for us if we're not showing up. So that's good news. They are looking for a garbage bin, which we can accommodate them with a normal garbage pickup, so that's fine, but they're also wondering about a recycling bin for the hotel. Now, you would first say we don't provide individual recycling bins, but we do. For example, to the Swan River Golf Course
School.
and the school and the hospital all have recycling bins that we pay for. So the question is, do you wish to have a recycling bin for the Benito Hotel? They would like one.
Well, I don't know if you can do that when you don't, so you can give one to the hotel, then you can give one to each of the other businesses?
Privately owned, so it's, like golf isn't private,
No.
hospital isn't private, school isn't private.
You can have
It's a
one if you
slippery
wanna have a
slope.
charge for it.
Like if we're filling the 3 we have, okay, maybe we put one more where those are.
Okay, so are you agreeable if this, because if we don't give them one, and they walk it all across the street, those are gonna fill quicker. So if those are consistently full, are you okay with adding one more there, but not to the hotel giving one, or what do you wanna do? I don't have the right answer, I'm just asking the question.
Well, I don't think you can single it out and put one there.
Which makes sense, because I think there's a good argument that we don't do it for other private businesses, right?
Well, yeah.
If a private business wants it, if he wants to pay for it, we would gladly facilitate
Yeah, if
it
he wants
being
to add
there.
that onto a cost, we put it there.
So how many private businesses in Video do you think are gonna want one?
That was my question, would anybody mind if any other business mind? I mean,
It's hard to say, the
I mean,
grocery store
the
might be a
grocery
lot of
store is
boxes.
right across the street.
So is he,
So is he,
See,
like they might produce a lot of boxes, I don't know.
If it makes any difference to you, the province, as you know, is working on making us not pay for recycling, but there's a big asterisk to that. It does not include commercial recycling, only residential. So even once the province takes over recycling, they will not be paying for commercial recycling. So even the bins we have now at the school, and the hospital, and the golf
we'll
course,
still be paying for them.
we'll still pay for them.
What if we move them slightly off property?
Certainly, we could
Curbside.
encourage those folks to make use of some community bins someplace.
Yeah,
There's gonna have to be some playing done with the wording when that comes through. But, you know, even after that, if you wanted a recycle bin at the hotel, it would cost.
yeah, I can't imagine he would have, like all the liquor boxes will go to empties to be returned.
Quite a few.
Restaurant, well then, does
Yeah.
Gateway get one? You know, or Buffalo Junction?
No.
It'd
At least they
be-
don't yet.
It'd be a tough thing to sell. I think we could add one more where it is, or we could put one at the rink. And maybe some of that stuff there would disperse over or whatever, but
like Buffalo Junction, they can burn their stuff out there. You know what I mean? They can,
well,
they're not in town, right? So they can have a burning barrel, right?
I suppose they could, but if one is entitled to it, they should be.
Like
too.
cardboard and stuff, I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I think there's consensus, we're not putting one at the hotel.
oh, I don't think we
The
can.
only other option would be take a survey of existing businesses in town, see if anybody's against it. Maybe that's opening a can of worms.
I think it is.
But we gotta, like, if you watch on the, like, financials, how much it costs every time they pick those bins up. Like,
Oh,
at the
gee.
school, like, almost $300.
I know.
So are you gonna pay
We
for that
have-
one to get picked up there?
We have another
Like,
solution.
Yeah,
It doesn't make,
But we have another solution. Right now, they're behind the town office, probably not the best spot when it can get messy and mucky back there. We have an empty concrete bowling lane pad right beside the hotel. We could move them all over there.
well, that, like, I don't have a problem with that.
Or put two there and two at the rink or something, then that's essentially on his property, you can't get any closer. And it's not in kind of a crappy spot where it is now.
That's gonna be where the swimming pool is.
That's a couple years out yet.
Specifically, there is a request for that property for commercial development,
Oh,
but I don't think that would be immediate. It would be a couple years out. I'm just looking for the OSS thing here. You're right, it's around
No, like-
$36 or $40 per rental every month, plus a pickup fee every time we go get
Yeah,
it.
what's the one at the school, Benito?
well, that, like, if you know, it was on our financial.
Oh, that's just garbage, or is that not recycling?
It's just recycling.
That's recycling.
OSS is check 21249.
Yeah, like, it was on our thing. It's not cheap.
I've seen it there before, yeah, they add up pretty quick.
It's two something a month, isn't it?
It's coming. It's coming. Okay, so the total cost for the golf course.
Well, the golf course wasn't on there because they didn't pick it up.
Okay, so Benito Healthcare, $305.40 a month. Benito School, $305.40 a month. Benito Town Office, $922.68 a month.
But there's
Basically
more
$305 a
bins.
bin.
Yeah, 305 a bin. That's what I mean, you can't just, unless they wanna pay
And
for it.
sometimes you
That's
get
our
lucky.
use case.
that's
Is
three
that
bigger.
If they wanna pay for it.
OSS, is
Split it
that
50-50.
OSS?
Yeah.
Would you wanna give any money for it? Like say split it 50-50?
We can explore that, folks. Yeah, it keeps it alive, all right.
Yeah. And then, I mean, if somebody else comes and says, well, you know, we want to, well, this is what it's costing them.
Say it's $150 a month.
Yeah.
Other side of the room, what are you thinking?
Oh, God, then you're gonna have them complaining all the time because residents are putting stuff in it.
True.
Because what?
Residents are using it,
Oh, wow, yeah.
because
like
you
the,
can't really close, unless they build something that they unlock for OSS or give keys.
Pain in the butt though if it's locked.
Yep.
So we're back to square one.
The simple decision that wasn't.
I just think that, you know, he comes up to us, and he asks for this, he asks for that, and we are always do is tell him, no, 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 you know? And, I mean, he's the only guy, well, it's not the only one, but I mean, that's in Bonito that's trying to build something in Bonito, so.
So what if we put two beside him? We have two where they are, two beside him. It's
Is the easiest solution not just to add one more to the downtown, so we have 4 instead of 3?
that's the easiest, but it
And
makes
then
him.
if we worst case to where they are now, and he has to walk almost the same distance to it as he would if it was behind him. Like it's an extra 200 feet of walking. But he still gets a bid. If we end up moving them someplace closer, they're certainly never gonna move further away. If it turns out they're easier to have on that cement pad, and we move them all there, it's even closer to them. Like that would resolve the issue of the glass that we're having, because we keep getting broken glass where they are now on the gravel and people drive on it. You know, so if we put them right along there, you'd be on the street, the glass, if any broke, would be on the cement, we could sweep it up, it wouldn't be there, we would spend an hour picking it up.
can that truck get on that property to pick the bins
Well,
up?
I suspect it could just drive right over the curb.
Okay.
It's a pretty big truck, it could probably just drive up, scoop them
Well,
up.
that's on,
Yeah, like I think that
or
could be
the back alley, there might be access.
Yeah, if you put them on
Yeah,
the back
back
alley,
alley.
you'd come down that other lane that goes to the
Yeah.
park, right up to them.
The only problem with them going up on the curb like that, is they'd have to be further back, because
Yeah, 'cause
the
it-
forks would go like this, and you
Yeah.
wouldn't, but if they were in the back alley and they
Yeah.
could drive onto the cement a little bit and pick them up,
Yeah.
everything's flat, eh?
It would, look, the neighbors aren't thrilled with them where they are now. Like, we're hoping we might build a fence so they don't have to look at them. So, you know, they might like them moving. So I think I'm hearing no to his own, but yes to adding another one if needed and maybe relocating them.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that suitable
Yeah.
for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want a resolution to any of that effect, or we'll just,
Let's just do
okay,
Make it up.
it. That's our decision. We can put as many as we want.
okay. That seems simple. Let's see if the next one that seems simple is any better. Be resolved, the Urban Animal Control Report for March 2026 be received and approved for payment. Is there a mover? Councillor Neely, who would like to second that? Councillor Zbirun. Copy of that report is attached, and it says,
It's cute.
she recalled that a cat had been caught in a live trap that had been set at a residence on Railway Avenue. As I was leaving to get the trap, another call was received for a resident looking for a cat that had gone missing. Surprisingly enough, the cat in the trap was the missing cat and was returned to the owner.
Everybody's happy.
Yes. Any further discussion? Hearing nothing, we'll call the question. Those in favor? It's carried.
And that only cost us $127.
I think that's kind of the whole thing for the month, so we're okay.
Okay, 9:15, be it resolved the rural animal control and bylaw report for March 2026 be received and approved for payment. Is there a mover? Councillor Kushniryk, and does somebody wish second? Councillor Blosha. That copy is attached. Is it as cute? No. Complaint about a camper structure, spoke to the resident, confirmed there's no bylaw issue. Complaints about 2 residents allowing their dogs to run at large, visited both of them, spoke to the owners, gave verbal warnings of violation of bylaw for dogs running at large. Any discussion? Hearing nothing, we'll call the question. Those in favor? That's carried. 9:16, fire garage. So there's a small version here, there was a large version on the table earlier, electronic versions attached here of the plan set. These were drawn by Lamar. These have had many, many revisions. So we have revised this down to a class 9 structure. So this is under 600 square meters. It's shown with glass doors. Those are likely changing to metal doors because they're half the price. I've kind of held out the option for the Bonito Firemen's Association because they really want the glass doors. If they wish to fundraise the difference in price from the metal doors we need to the glass doors they want, I'm sure we would be agreeable to let them do that, but it would probably be a hard sell here to put glass doors in that building.
It's a lot of glass.
It is a lot of glass.
Is this the actual one here with the 4 doors on it?
Yes.
Right there,
Yeah.
Steve.
We have done rough costing on this. It is the belief that this building can be built for the $1 million we're supposed to be building it for. In the second package here is the bid documents. These are ready to go tomorrow if we think it's acceptable. It provides a couple different things here. One is for someone to bid the entire project for a set price. I don't think that's gonna happen. The other is for people to bid then the concrete and then the structure to rough in stage, basically to lock up, so the doors can be locked and people don't get in. And then we would continue on with tendering to tender the electrical and the plumbing and the things as we go along. In speaking to some of the local folks, there's at least one firm that is willing to bid this as cost plus 10%. If you don't play in construction land all the time, that might not make sense to you. What it means is whatever they spent to have it built, plus 10% extra for themselves is what they would charge us, which basically would make them a general contractor. That is to say, it would cost $100,000 to have them arrange the tradespeople to come, and we would pay whatever the tradespeople charged. So there's probably $100,000 to be saved there from arranging the tradespeople ourselves. But council's thoughts are always important to us. This is written, but it's not released. We can make changes if you want to. In here, it suggests that to try and make it a little easier for smaller people to compete, we would be willing to pay for that building package, so they didn't have to come up with a couple $100,000 of supplies and wait for us. They would essentially just bill us the labor like some of the other contractors do for heavy duty repairs. Thoughts, questions, comments?
Well, pay extra 10%. Nobody's paying that if we don't have to.
Well, I'm sure we can figure out a way to,
Spend it someplace else.
well, and there's enough of us and between us and Public Works, like surely we can,
No people and no people.
okay, mark this day down when I say, surely we can handle this.
And if I say stays in the budget, let's put it out there. We gotta
Yeah.
get started.
Oh,
Yeah.
we gotta
Yeah.
get started.
We got the land, we already know we got
Get
that.
the ground ready
Let's get going.
and get the cement guy hired or whatever, or we're gonna, one guy wants to do the whole thing, whatever, but.
Yeah, well, they got a bid on it, so.
When we met with the fire folks a while ago, we made pretty clear to them we were not going over the budget.
Well, we can't.
And we said, you know, our priority is having a place to put the trucks they outfit. If that means your office isn't finished yet, and we're at budget, we're done. And you're gonna have to fundraise some more, or maybe council in the future will come up with some more, but if this creeps to $1.2 million, no, there's $1 million. That's where we're stopping. And so, wherever that gets us. But the intention is to get this done in that, but you just never know for sure, right, if it gets away, but, you know, ideally, we need to be able to put trucks in there, we need to put water in them. Go to a fire. If that means they have to have their meetings at their old office for a few months, so be it. They're very capable folks, and some of them have spoken quite openly about doing some of the inside finishing themselves to save some money. You know, come volunteer some hours to do some of the stuff that, you know, isn't the structure of the building. You know, once it's there and ready, you can work away at some stuff inside over the winter, and if they have some spare time where they're not farming, they might be willing to do that, save some money that way. There's some options to make a better building and still keep it to the right price.
Some camaraderie or whatever the league word is.
And we could all go out there one night and paint if we want. Like there's
Yeah.
options, right? To help along. So if you're good with that, we're gonna release that bid. It's due back here on May 19th, which is council night. So we'll take a look at the responses together. 9/17, there's a similar bid package here for the Kendall Hall, same return date, May 19th. This is for roof replacement. We want to do this kind of officially because the pricing on it, and just see where it comes back at, make sure it's really what we think, and then we'll give it that one more sober second thought before we actually do anything. Just in case we've changed our mind, if there's a surprise on the pricing. It'd be nice if it was a lower surprise.
Jump, yeah.
Yeah, but just before we get into anything, figure it out. 9:18, GIS. You will hear in camera about a 45-minute conversation I had with the mayor on Friday. I can report that the final 10 minutes of that conversation, neither of us raised our voice. First 35 minutes wasn't so pleasant. Much of that conversation was about GIS, so the actual agreement is attached here for everyone's reference. It provides that we will pay our share of the actual cost for GIS, not a made-up number from the town of Swan River. It also provides that all information provided to the town of Swan River about GIS is to be immediately provided to the 3 other members, period. No when they feel like it, no because they didn't get to it, none of that. If information is given to them by the RCMP about the unit, they are to provide it to us immediately.
Yeah, and it was per person,
Per capita.
Yeah.
per
Yes.
capita, yes.
Yep.
And that has to be stuck to.
Oh, yeah, it's not, yeah, no, it's us, we're not, is it?
But that's not kind of how it sounded at the G4, so.
No, it's always been per capita.
No, I know, but when
36
they
bucks a
talked about
person.
billing at the G4, that's not what.
46 bucks.
What was always promised was that they have a bill for what they get now, and there would be a second bill for GIS.
Yeah.
And whatever that second bill said would be split up according to the formula. And at the G4, they said, well, actually, we're just gonna get it all as one invoice. And the town council will sit down together and determine how much of that invoice should be for GIS, and then we'll bill based on that.
Yeah,
That's gonna come along with the regular policing.
that's how it was explained at the G4, yes.
And honestly, if that's how it's gonna be, we should exit the agreement.
Yeah,
And I've warned the town of Swan River, we'll be discussing in camera tonight exiting the agreement if they don't fulfill the terms of it.
because, yeah, the contract says per capita, and we need to know
And
the
the
exact
actual
amount.
amount, not the town makes up an amount.
If it's, what would it work out to, I forget now, so it's 600,000 a year. 600,000 a year, 600,000. We don't wanna be paying on 700,000, which would be 100,000 of their other policing costs.
Right,
Okay, that's what they're
that's
getting
what I'm
at.
saying,
Yeah.
because it's supposed to be 2 separate bills, they pay their own,
Yeah.
we all pay the GIS. And what they've said is they're gonna have it put into one bill, and they themselves will determine how much of that one bill they think is the GIS. And then split it up for us.
Yeah, that's how I heard it.
And they also have determined that they won't send a bill until March of next year. Which is also strange, because they
They're
get
gonna
billed
be a year
quarterly.
behind.
Well, they are, but I don't know what the deal with that is. But
What are they up to, like, just,
a lot of that discussion, and I won't share it all here, we'll talk about it in camera. I said things like, we've learned our lesson from other dealings, we will follow the written agreement.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, that's there. 919 just came in today, we threw it here, this is from the RM of Minitonas. They are petitioning, Mountain, correct, Mountain, petitioning for some burning of old buildings. I don't know if you know what happened in Saskatchewan, but at their conference, there's a lot of municipalities that feel they would like to be able to burn old buildings instead of spending a lot of money tearing them down, and the minister stood up and said, burn them, I give you permission. They're pretty happy. But in Manitoba, we're not allowed to. So Mountain, and I think a lot of other municipalities would like us to be able to control burdens again of buildings where it's safe to do so. So we burn them instead of spending $50,000 or $100,000 tearing them down. So that's what that's about. There's not really anything for us to do. I just wanted to see it happening, so you knew it was.
Good practice for fire department.
Well,
too,
yeah,
you know.
they used to do that.
Except the Mafeking one, they brought the Rick down that time.
Yeah, that's. Pay your insurance bill before you do it. 920 Canada Summer Job Approval. Earlier today, the Canadian government clarified that Swan Valley West will be receiving a summer student. Now, this is not normal. This is a result of the CAO doing a very good job at grant applications. We've applied for this many years in a row. Don't usually get it. We typically get the provincial ones, which we still expect to get.
That's the green team.
Green team. This is on top of and above. So this is an additional summer student.
Oh, good, we need them to put up those signs.
Yeah. So we'll sort through some details on that, but it's 8 weeks. And we have to contribute some, but they contribute some, and so hey, it's more money. The more we can get, the better. 921, election interference. This should raise some eyebrows for you. We're noting in the public portion of the meeting that we have detected election interference with the upcoming municipal elections in Swan Valley West. In the last few days, there have been fake Facebook accounts made claiming to be the Municipality of Swan Valley West.
Oh, I saw that. I thought it was
Yes.
Brad making a new page.
No.
Because you were on the roof.
I think I even liked it and I
I saw
joined it.
that.
I joined
No,
it,
I
think.
did not, because I was like, what the?
And I'm just waiting for comments and there's no comments.
I
So we,
saw that.
we don't know who that is, but typically that is a sign of what's to come. So I'm sure there'll be some entertaining times over the next few months.
Probably the Russians, eh?
So I thought it came from this office.
Yeah, Facebook.
I thought
But I
it
didn't notice I was on.
We'll further disclose one additional item that council hasn't heard yet. A few weeks ago, I received a telephone call from a person accusing me of having raped several girls at the high school while I worked there, which we chalk up to election interference as well. And for the record, I did not.
Well, of course.
But it was very clearly a conversation about if I was going to participate in the future election or not, and what I could expect if I chose to run.
Isn't that something, eh? That's. You say you're running in another term or?
What are you smoking over there?
What's in that cup? I guess that's interference.
Let's go to committee reports. We'll start with Councillor Burick.
Okay, didn't attend any committee, but we did attend the G4. And RISE was discussed already. GIS, I guess you're gonna discuss it later on, but it was discussed that it's starting April 1st.
Yeah.
Medical services, there's supposed to be a presenter there, but because of the weather, she didn't make it, but 3 more new doctors coming in September.
It's a lie. The information presented at G4 by the chair of the Medical Services Committee was inaccurate.
Okay, so we're not getting 3 new doctors then?
Nope.
Okay, no.
Also, the part where he took shots at me in front of everybody, also inaccurate. It was entertaining though to have him stand up in front of the entire room and take shots at me. The shots related to the fact that I pointed out prior to the meeting what he was about to say was not true. But he felt it was good to say it because it sounded good. And then took shots at me for saying that it was inaccurate. It's not true.
So I
There's
had
been
that,
no announcement of new doctors.
okay, so I had that marked, so that's not true then. So I wrote that down, I thought I'd pass it to
I
the,
know, it would be great.
I thought I'd pass it to the members that weren't there, so, but, yeah. That's it. Just attended the G4, that was it.
Councillor Blosha.
Yeah, I attended the G4 as well, and we've discussed everything that I need to discuss. Because I did a lot of talking there. Well, not a lot. Just when you feel strongly about something, you have to speak up.
That's the point of going. Councillor Kushniryk.
Nothing to report.
Councillor McGregor.
Nothing to report.
Councillor Neely.
I was at the G4 as well. The one thing other folks have missed is the airport
Right.
situation there. About 3 years ago, I think it was just before our last election actually. They hired a guy, and I forget the amount, what did he say, 25,000 or something, or out?
Oh yeah, owed 25. It was supposed to be a lot more than that.
Yeah,
But
but
they're owed
they
25.
gave, this fellow from Alberta was supposed to put in a card lock system. Okay. And he come and did a little bit of work or something, then they can't get a hold of him, he's not coming back. And Don Bollock said that we might have to eat that money. Just so you know, that we might be losing some money there over this contractor from Alberta, and being out of province, it'd be tough to get after him to get that money. But that was the only other thing that hasn't been discussed yet, so.
Anything else?
No.
Councillor Zbirun.
Nothing to report.
Hey. Let me get my list. I know when Councillor Kushniryk comes, I have to read the list.
this.
Thank you. So earlier today, it was actually just prior to the meeting, moments before the meeting, I got back from going to Gade. I'm taking some supplies to Public Works for those flooding sites we were talking about. So we got a couple new pumps because our one pump died. That's gone out there and probably by now has been resolved. Yesterday I was in Benito and tested a puddle for chlorine. Because this time of year, we're still looking for a leak, and we found a puddle we thought was growing faster than it should have been. We're curious if that might be where our missing water is going to. The puddle did test positive for chlorine, however, very low level. It's very near where we had the fire hydrant issue, so I think it's just ice from the fire hydrant melting. It wasn't high enough to be a fresh leak, so we continue to look for that. I also dropped by the video office last night and finished off the final details of making sure the computer worked and how the printers worked and everything. And this morning, for the first time, we offered service in Benito at the office for quite some time since we've been there. I had the pleasure of being the first one in to pay a water bill. So I can say the first water bill paid in the modern era of the Benito office. Some other people did drop by today too, though, so that was well received. We've talked a little bit about doing some sort of like official opening, coffee and donuts or something. We didn't do it today because we're kind of still working those bugs out, and well, council will be part of it. But maybe after AMM, we could do something out there one afternoon if some people are available to just sort of welcome the community back and show our faces and do some good stuff. On Sunday, I was at the water plant. Sean was off that day, so I did water testing for him. And then if you go back to the Monday before, he was also off that day, so I did the water testing. Back into the beginning of April, did the water meter readings in Benito. I went to the Benito Hotel fire inspection. Some of that we'll have to take up in camera, but I was with the fire chief and 2 of the fire captains as we went through the hotel looking at possible deficiencies and what needed to be done to correct them. That hotel has since passed, as I indicated earlier. I was at the G4 meeting as well. The airport thing, the only thing I'll add to that is it would be nice to build the card lock the Swan Valley Westway instead of the town of Swan Riverway. But I don't know if they're ever going to be able to do that, because they're talking about spending twice as much now on the card lock as they had originally planned, because the next bidder is so much more, which kind of scares me. But we'll have to sort through that as kind of a committee to decide.
I think you're going by what Dauphin does in Nico and different places.
Yeah,
Looking at those places.
I think all of those places have gone out and hired somebody that runs it and does it all. And that you could go buy the equipment and just have the local electrician install it and be, you know, so much cheaper.
My question is like, you know, they have the co-op card lock, why couldn't you get those kind of people to do it? You know, like, I don't know nothing about those things.
The raw equipment is just not that much money for what they're suggesting. Like, half of what they're looking at paying is profit to somebody. Well, let's do it without that part. But not my committee, so good luck to you.
Let's look at it.
We did landfill key lock changes. We've been working through rekeying things, so that's continued. I was out in Benito to freeze the water. That goes back now to our previous meeting, does it not? Yeah, so I think that's all of it. I did speak with the mayor. It's not on my list of dealings. It was a phone call, but we had a good chat on Friday, and we'll get to that in camera shortly. Anything else for committee reports or communications tonight? Hearing nothing, we will take a break for a few minutes. When we come back, we'll be going in camera, discussing the town of Swan River, a little bit on some seasonal positions we have, maybe some HR matters. We'll touch on fire inspection, and then that'll be a meeting. So we'll see you all in a few minutes. We stand in recess until then.
We're half done the meeting, right?
Okay, let's move to 13.1. Be resolved that pursuant to section 1523 of the Municipal Act, Council shall meet as a committee to hold a closed meeting and continue discussions in camera regarding personnel matters, negotiations, preliminary discussions, and investigation and enforcement of an act or bylaw. Is there a mover? Councillor Burick, and I saw Councillor McGregor next. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. Those in favor, it's carried.
That's my phone bill.
Coming out of the in-camera discussion, we certainly took some direction for staff on some things, but mostly it was just discussion. We'll go to 13.4, resolutions arising from in-camera discussions. Anything there? Let's go to 14, notice of motion. Does anyone have a notice of motion to present tonight? Still hearing nothing. Let's go to 15. Be it resolved, this meeting shall now adjourn at 10:14 p.m. Be it further resolved, the next meeting is Tuesday, April 28th, 2026 at 7 p.m. Moved by, who's first? Councillor Blosha, seconded by Councillor Neely. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. Those in favor? That's carried, and that's the meeting for the night. Thank you, everyone.